Here's the 30-second lesson on what legends know. Never practice nunchucks in a crowded room. Never eat chole before a road trip. Always take your shirt off before you iron it. Don't take a call near a swimming pool. And don't forget, saving is not investing. Legends don't just save, they invest in mutual funds. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Rest assured, this isn't another piece of writing on Anubhav Sinha's Netflix teleseries IC-814, The Kandahar Hijack. It's not about that, except that it serves to spark this larger argument on the insurmountable and often physically dangerous challenge of creating any work of art, literature, movie, or a television series drawing from any chapter or personalities of our contemporary history. The IC-814 controversy has erupted in the same week when the release of Kangana Ranaut's Emergency has been withheld. Yet another contemporary history-themed movie, Farhan Akhtar's 120 Bahadur, has begun its pre-release promotions as well. This portrays the heroic last battle of the storied Charlie Company of the Kumaon Regiment, C Company of 13th Kumaon, in Ladakh's Rezangla in 1962. This shows filmmakers see the juice in historical realities. They are worth making movies on. The challenge of staying close to the complete truth, however, is formidable. In fact, the challenge of not fictionalizing is also formidable, because there you also have to avoid the temptation of adding fiction, because it just seems to have more sex appeals very often. Why, for example, has Kangana Ranaut's film got into trouble? Usually, you would have thought it would pass through the system like a breeze. Another in the already large repertoire of garden variety Gandhi family bashing films thriving in the Modi era. Given that Ranaut is a BJP MP now, you would expect to see Mrs. Gandhi in her most self-destructive phase. We say Mrs. Gandhi only for Indira Gandhi, by the way. This is where Kangana Ranaut, the very fine actress and BJP MP, would be portraying Mrs. Gandhi in her most self-destructive phase, particularly as this is when she was dismantling the constitution during the emergency. The BJP has just suffered electorally because an impression grew that it wanted a large Lok Sabha majority, 400 par, to do precisely this. The BJP's main weapon of counterattack, the Brahmastra, has been Indira Gandhi's subversion of what Narendra Modi has exalted now as a sacrament, as a holy book, the Constitution. One of Hindi cinema's finest actors today would now be playing Indira Gandhi in her authoritarian avatar. Wonderful idea, no? Nobody would have expected this movie to get anything but much tender love and care, TLC, and an avalanche of tweets, breathless tweets in praise, instant reviews in praise, and support and selfies with Kangana from those in the establishment or vying for its attention. Where did it all go so wrong then? Is the film good or bad? I can't say, because I have only seen the trailer. It promises a loud, juvenile, simplistic fare with characters including Kangana as Indira Gandhi looking like overly powdered AI versions, artificial intelligence versions of the original. I also don't know yet if the film identifies him as Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale, but an actor seemingly playing him is first seen emerging from jail and later speaking to an audience of 6 and rhetorically answering a question that a Congress leader is seen to be posing. Do you know what is it that we want? And he's rhetorically answering that question and sending a message in Punjabi to the Congress. Your party wants votes. Thonu vote chahiye. Your party wants vote and we want Khalistan. This has triggered an almighty Sikh outrage, with the Venerable Shiromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee, SGPC no less, stepping in. The film is in trouble not because she paints Indira Gandhi as evil or as a devil and puts in her mouth words she never spoke. I will come to that. Kangana Ranaut's Mrs. Gandhi is seen in the trailer saying Indra is India, India is Indra. Mrs. Gandhi never said this. This is what Devkant Barua, Congress president then, said at the AICC Guwahati session in the winter of 1976. This was peak emergency, and in that season of competitive psychophancy, Barua spoke the line that damned his legacy. In the early 1980s, I would sometimes drop by at his home in Nagaon if I was traveling in that part of Assam, which is where he spent his years in political retirement and wilderness. And he fretted over that one indiscretion, that Indira is India indiscretion. Did Mrs. Gandhi ever say that herself? Not that I know from any readings. Of course, now I have seen Ranaut say that in the emergency trailer. This is fake news. The Congress people, however, aren't the ones protesting. The Bhindranwale reference in the movie becomes necessary because the pretended biopic must also make the point that Indira Gandhi invited the assassination upon herself by playing fast and loose with Sikh separatism. There is enough evidence in contemporary history, in my own reporting as well from that era, that in the very early stages, the Congress, especially Gyani Zail Singh, patronized Bhindranwale in the hope that he could embarrass the Shiromani Akali Dal in the SGPC elections. That failed. That adventurism failed, but Bhindranwale meanwhile grew into a force. By this time, he had grown into such a force that to say that Congress still had any influence over him is nonsense. The movie's message, however, is Indira Gandhi was so power hungry, she was willing to trade votes for Khalistan with Bhindranwale. As a reporter who met Bhindranwale dozens of times between the summer of 1983 and the hour, just the last hour when the first army units moved in for Operation Blue Star, I never heard Bhindranwale demand Khalistan, nor did anybody I know. There are hundreds of hours of tapes of his speeches which are available. You can buy them in shops outside the Golden Temple, many other places all over Canada, parts of UK. You can find them everywhere, hundreds of hours of tapes. You will find that he never said Khalistan, whatever the subtext of his message, innuendo, or actions. All of us reporters asked him the cake question at some point. His pre-rehearsed answer was, I never asked for Khalistan, nor am I asking. But if Bibi, which is Indira Gandhi, but if Bibi or Delhi Darbar gives it to me, I won't say no. Main naani kehni. I will not say no. Short lesson, you can still put words in Indira Gandhi's mouth and get away with it. But you might also end up messing with Bhindranwale 40 years after he died, and that will bring you much trouble, like getting your film stopped. One reason all of these films and teleserials get into trouble is that they try to hide behind the smokescreen that these are works of fiction inspired by real events. So you can pick and choose from facts and fictionalize to put the right triggers for your audience or the powers that be. Convenient facts plus loaded fiction equals ODS propaganda. Check out the 2-season Rocket Boys on Sony Live 2022-23. I wrote a national interest about it. You will see a link with the description box of this video. Rocket Boys picked real heroic lives. Homi Bhabha, Vikram Sarabhai, it also threw in Jawaharlal Nehru, Lal Bahadur Shastri, etc. And it grew fictional by the episode. The great Dalit physicist Meghnad Saha became a Muslim deeply jealous of Bhabha. The CIA and other evil forces and conspiracy theories moved in. The nonsensical defense for all of this doctrine was creative liberty. The fact is that we are still too thin-skinned to accept anything but deification of our leaders, biopics or biographies. We are growing pricklier by the day, and anything that India did wrong cannot pass. Unless, of course, you can blame it on the Nehru Gandhis. An honest, truthful biopic on Ambedkar, Chhatrapati Shivaji, M. Karunanidhi, Balasaheb Thackeray, Rani of Jhansi, Kanshi Ram, Bhindranwale, just about anybody is impossible. This runs across the subcontinent. The reason why some of our most important public figures have had defining biographies written on them by foreigners, Jinnah and Bhutto by University of California professor Stanley Walpert, for example. Even the film Gandhi was made by a foreigner. When Richard Attenborough once told Nehru in 1963, he was introduced to Nehru by Mountbatten. When he told him that he intended to do a Gandhi biopic, the advice he got from Nehru was, don't deify him and show him as he was, warts and all. Will such a thing pass today? Forget politics. Our sporting biographies and biopics are ghost-written, co-produced by the stars themselves. Movies on our military history, watch that Sam Bahadur. Famous battles from border to Uri, and multiple nonsensical ones on Kargil wallow in the same malaise. Not for us Indians a Clint Eastwood who would do a Flags of Our Fathers and then a sequel to look at the heroism from the Japanese side with letters from Iwo Jima. In what passes for an Indian war film, the Pakistanis are idiots, cowardly, comical and very Islamic, flowing beards and all. Remember, border? Let's see now how Farhan Akhtar portrays the Chinese. We are so sensitive, we even took umbrage at that one reference from Bhagavad Gita in a bedroom conversation in Oppenheimer. That a filmmaker must deal with this awful degree of difficulty in producing anything honest in India is understandable. The ploy of calling it fiction but picking enough suitable facts to make your story look credible is creative and intellectual dishonesty. It distorts history, maligns some and glorifies others unfairly, and of course, sometimes it can get your movie blocked. And so what if you have the entire establishment behind you? Ask Kangana Ranaut in this case.